Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Tsongkhong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dubden Darji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today, Harya, Manohara Vasudhara, Manohara, Sumo, Tanchen Katso, Tutan Siddhi, Tutan Karma. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistant, Dharma tutors, temple and center directors, and all disciples over the internet too. Good afternoon, how do you do?
I stay Sharang Hola amigo Que quiero mucho Skoi Ichiba Kimochi Chumi Yabi Purin Purin Konnichiwa.
Now, I would like to announce for next Sunday, October 15th at 3 p.m. there will be the Homa of Amugapasa Avalokiteswara Bodhisattva. There are always many primary supplicants for this deity because his name contains Amuga or non-empty, which means all your requests or prayers will return non-empty. So every time we always have the most primary supplicants. If you have no wishes whatsoever, then you don't need to become primary supplicants. Now, is there anyone that has no desire whatsoever in their hearts? And they have nothing to ask whatsoever? Anyone? Nobody raised their hand. I would. Wow. Personally, I have no desire or wishes nowadays. Talking about the 5 desires of humans, wealth,
色
there's nothing to ask. Sensual pleasure, nothing to
不想要
ask.
什么名，
And fame,
求
I also wish for nothing.
每天吃的都有
And
人
food, there's always food, offerings of food. There's nothing to ask for. Sleep,
睡的也够了，
it's enough.
不用求，
There's nothing to wish for.
也够了。
Wealth also is enough. Nothing to
车子也
ask
是
for.
最好的车啦，
And
房
the
子也是
car is the best, the house is the best.
这个表也是最好的表啦，
And the
都是最
watches,
好的，还求什么？
everything is already the best. What else should we ask for? No desire.
百货公司我连去都没有去，
I haven't been to the department stores at all.
那个哈尼瓦说
Hanifa
买
said
一个最新的那个
she bought
手机，
me the latest iPhone that just got
说
out
我这个手机太重，他买一个比较小，比较
because the phone was too heavy. So she bought the latest and the lightest one, and I said, no need, no need. I don't even know how to use the old one. How can I use the new one?
名，我还求什么？还有
And fame? What fame am I asking for? Nothing.
色、名、食
So wealth,
5种欲望都没有，
sensual pleasures, fame, sleep, and food. I have none of those.
真的不想求什么。
So I really have nothing to ask.
那你说求病好吗？
Asking for illness? That's a lie.
根本不会好。
The sicknesses will never be cured. You know, the
知道这个医
medical technology is very advanced, right? You know that.
八个鸟，
How advanced? I don't believe it.
像师母的病，
Like Simu's illness,
没有药可以治。
there is no medical treatment for it.
很多病都是没有药，
There are many illnesses that are incurable.
给你那个好像是说
All
说
they
高血压吧，
all they give, like say
断掉
hypertension.
高血压吗？
Can you truly stop hypertension? You have to rely on the pills to control it.
根治没有
Is there anything that can truly cure? No.
啊，糖尿
Like diabetes,
没有药啊，
there is no medicine for it.
啊降
no
低你的
treatment.
那个血糖而已。
It's just something to control your blood sugar. And cancer too. There is also no
现在
treatment for
世界
it.
上
I
第一
mean,
个
no
死亡的
cure for it.
是
The cause of death in the world is cancer still.
很多种病都没有药的，
There are many illnesses that cannot be cured.
病也不用求了，
So that's why there's no need to pray to the Buddhas or Bodhisattvas
什么都不用求。
to have your illnesses cured. So you don't need to ask for anything.
这无求也好，
So nothing to ask. That's good too.
我是不用求什么。
I don't need to ask for anything.
像那个勾财天女、
Like Manohara, I don't need to ask for
空
anything.
间所观音，
Or Amugapasa, Avalokitesvara, I don't have to ask him for anything either.
我还求什么？没求。
What do I need to ask for? Nothing.
我自己身体的病，
My own illnesses,
那是医生啊，
those doctors,
你给他看病，看到最后，病人
you
还没
go
有
to
死
see
医生
them,
不死
and the patient's still alive, but the doctor is dead.
对呀、
Right.
医生自己不死吗？还是死啊？
Won't the doctor die too? Yeah, they will die.
连眼
So the person, the pharmaceutical companies and doctors earn a lot of money. And no matter what illness you have, even they, the doctors, also cannot predict and cannot help themselves. Dr. Zheng Senglong, when he was still young, came to the Yixin community when Fuqing was still very small. And recently, there were several doctors who got cancer and died. So the doctors too will die. It doesn't matter what, you will die. Even when you hold the highest position, you will also die. I talked about impermanence, and yesterday I forgot to mention that those in the leadership positions will also die. That's impermanence. And many presidents are imprisoned, and especially from Korea. There was also a Korean president who committed suicide, and the rest of the presidents were imprisoned. That's impermanence. They've become a president and then had to live in prison, like Abian, the ex-president of Taiwan too, was in prison. So this is all impermanence. After seeing all this, we have no more mind. I feel I have no mind. I have nothing to ask. So the mind is quiescent, tranquil, serene. In the past, Grandmaster said once that in the future, if I am reincarnated, you should ask the kid, what do you like most? You have to remember, if the kid said, I like beautiful ladies, then that must be Grandmaster Lu. But let me tell you, even the beautiful ladies eventually would become really ugly. Think about it. When a beautiful lady becomes old, it becomes so ugly. Oh, it's just so horrible. Just seeing them would make me very sad. So therefore, I don't ask for beautiful ladies either. But the world is really quite pitiful. I have said it today that next time I come back to the Saha world, by all means, never ever don't get married. Remember, never to get married. I will carve it on my chest, never to get married. Why? Because at that time, you did not have any attainment, so after you get married, you will have children. Of course you like children, but do you know, you don't know that once the children come to the Saha world, to the human world, they grow up, and they would have to suffer from aging, from being sick, from dying, and from living, just from living too. So by giving birth to them, it's the same as giving them suffering. And then How about the children that they bear? So your grandchildren, they look nice and cute,
很年轻、
lively and young,
漂亮，
beautiful,
我们知道
but we
都是
know
暂时，
those are all
将
temporary
来就会到。
and the suffering will
就
come.
是带苦给你的后代，
So it's the same that you're giving them suffering,
还是不要
your descendants. So it's best not to.
自己的孩子。
We don't want to have our own children, no grandchildren either. We don't want any of those,
有子有孙，
because by having children and grandchildren, they will also suffer, and you yourself
小
suffer.
孩子不苦吗？
Then the children will suffer
对这个
too.
感触真的是
This is my revelation recently.
这什么都无牵无挂， 牵
So
挂小孩，
when you are
不牵挂孙子，
free
都
and
无牵无挂。
you have no care about your children or grandchildren or your wife or spouses,
度众生来杀佛，
then you're totally free.
事业
Then you just come to samsara to do good deeds, charity, related to Buddha Dharma. That's fine, but by all means, never, never, never get married.
希望不要影响到你们。
But this is my own revelation. I hope I don't influence you.
我个人最近感想很多哦，
I have lots of
应该写一本吧，
insights or revelations recently.
人生的。
Perhaps I should write a book talking about
曾写过一本如
my life.
此诗吧，
In the past, when I was young, I wrote a book already called The Philosophy of Seng Yen Lu.
老人的哲学，
And then I will write another one,
老啊，
The Philosophy of the Old Seng Yen Lu. Once you grow old, you would know, you would understand about a lot of things.
苦海，
Really, the ocean of suffering. Human life is the ocean of suffering.
为众生掉眼泪。
I shed tears for sentient beings.
昨天早上才哭过，
I cried yesterday morning.
我也讲过我自己的理想，
I've talked about my ideals as well, that there should not be countries in the world.
一个地球
One earth
也不需要有没有国家，
without countries, then we don't need national security, we don't need military,
这地球上就是一个国家，
then the whole earth is one country. No need for
你
passport,
想住哪里你就去住哪里，
and you can live wherever you want. You can move to wherever you
自由
want.
自在。
Everybody is free to move, and we help each other.
那这些军人做什么？
So, what use are the
花那些
military?
炮弹做什么？
What use are inventing those weapons and
杀
bombs?
这是第一戒，
In Buddhism, killing is the first and foremost
杀
precept,
人
and the military is to kill. The function
人跟人啊要共存共荣，
in between people, we should live together, embrace each other, tolerate each other.
凶器
So why do you invent all this weapons and
为什么要
weaponry?
原子弹、核子弹、氢弹、
All the bombs, missiles, cannons,
臭鸡蛋？
all this stuff. And a pun in Chinese is like rotten eggs.
这是杀人东西。
Those are harmful. Those are killing
今天
instruments.
的这个刑事案件，杀人
And look at
那是罪
the state of the world now.
杀人
If you kill, that's a crime. But if you group killing, like in wars, then isn't that a crime? Isn't that even worse and scarier? So my philosophy, my thinking is different from others. So we should work hard for the earth, not just for your own country. We don't need countries. All of those can be disposed of. Just have some police to rule people. If people don't get along, then you can set a stage and then you can just fight boxing. So at most, only one person dies. There's no need to have a large group of people dying. Because of my Bardo deliverance, I had lots of this feelings that the more I Bardo deliver, the more they are. I don't need to speak any more Dharma. This is my personal thinking. I hope I'm not influencing you. Why do you spend so much for the military? And every country do that, and every country is creating the worst, the most harmful weapons and weaponries, and then in wars they kill many, many people. So why can't we live together in harmony? Why don't we just have one country for one earth, and we all help each other? Then you don't need militaries because we only have one country, right? We just need the police to maintain the order of the society so that people don't violate the laws. That's good enough. That's my personal ideology. And the Independence Day, National Day, then we can have parade or even pole dancing. And Grandmaster can also perform the pole dancing. And that's very civilized. A parade. Instead, on National Day, you display your cannons and missiles and atomic bombs and nuclear bombs. No need. Between people are very cruel to each other. Just now, Manohara, I saw her hook when I raised the primary supplicants, and Manohara used her hook to hook all those registration forms up to the sky. I hope that through the school disciples that will be free from poverty, that everybody will be endowed with wealth and resources. Now we'll do the Q&A. A question from Taiwan, Lianhua Zhenghao. Homage to the most precious and unparalleled lineage root Guru, His Holiness Living Buddha Lien Seng. Thank you for your advice. I would like to seek guidance from Grandmaster. You have previously transmitted the practice of paying respect to the earth deity and encouraged disciples to recite the earth deity mantra. Please advise on the following. The earth deity is considered a positive deity or good God, but also belongs to the yin category. When reciting the earth deity mantra, should it be done after one's main deity practice? And should it include visualizing the Sanskrit syllable Ti in yellow color, emitting yellow light, which transforms into the earth deity? Because it's not yidam, so we don't need to perform the visualization of oneness. Let me chant earth deity mantra. When I chanted the earth deity mantra, was because someone had some skin problem. Don't know what happened. I know that a skin disease is slightly related to the earth deities. So for those suffering from the skin illnesses, skin diseases, I would ask them to chant the earth deity mantra. However, the question asked by Lian Hua Zhenghao, if you really want to practice and visualize a deity, Di, the syllable Di, is the same as A in Sanskrit. A. In the 5-layer pagoda, the square one at the bottom, that's Di or earth. So the earth, water, fire, wind, and space. So in the 5-layer pagoda, so therefore the syllable is Sanskrit A, yellow A, emitting yellow light, and the earth deity appears from it. So in our Dharma practice, if we want to visualize the earth deity, how should we visualize him to radiate light? What are the key points of the practice? I did not transmit much about this. And in the past, Grandmaster transmitted a practice related to the earth deity that's on the internet. Then you just follow that. I have written it. Then you just follow that. Interlace the 5 fingers of both hands inward. It looks similar to the greetings for prosperity gesture, except that it is inward. Then visualize the hands transforming into the golden ingots. While moving the mudra clockwise, recite the earth deity mantra at least 108 times. At the same time, the practitioner visualizes themselves transforming into the earth deity. If he wants to do that, then let him be. Let him do it. If you want to become the earth deity, then do so. The Rainbow Temple, let Grandmaster knows that this disciple said that Grandmaster had said this, but we couldn't find it. This is Rainbow Temple. And it turned out it was given by Master Le Zi, not Grandmasters. So if you want to, you can follow it. Maybe he's more experienced because he could become the earth deity. I never found the teaching from Grandmaster. Actually, of the earth deities, the highest one is the Prathivi Deva. Prativi Deva is the greatest earth deity. The true wealth deity would be Prativi deity, and I have transmitted that, and you don't want that, and yet you want the local earth deity instead? It's up to you. It's up to you.
这里写的参考资料，师尊从来没有传语。
And the reference here, Grandmaster never transmitted a deity yoga practice for the earth deity, but there was only a practice to pray to the earth deity. And on the year 2016, September 10th, at the Seattle Lizang Temple group practice, during the Siddhigarbha group practice, in the teaching of Lamde, Grandmaster said that the food that has been offered to the Buddhas can be eaten, and offered to the Bodhisattvas you can eat, or to the earth deity you can also eat them. But if you offer it to the local earth deity, you should not eat the food. So also the food that you offer to the gods, you should not eat. So why don't you practice the Prativi Deva, which is available, in True Buddha school? But why don't you just practice that instead? So what they can find is the earth deity, kind of like deity yoga, which Grandmaster has never transmitted before. But earth deity is very close and very kind too. That's like a village or an area. So if a good person who lived in an area or village and then died, and then he became the protector of that village, and he's become the earth deity. That's the origin of the earth deity. Do you understand? So we do have the Prativi Deva Dharma practice, and you require empowerment. But as deity, Yidam practice, does that exist? No. But you can pray to the earth deity, and there's a ritual, a procedure for that. Because Prativi Deva, back then when Sakyamuni Buddha gained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, Prativi Deva appeared to prove that Sakyamuni Buddha had been enlightened, had attained Tao. So Prativi Deva, and then also the many treasure Buddha pagoda. So, and also the tree god of the Bodhi tree also came to praise Sakyamuni Buddha. Is that right? Not sure about that, but I just went to the interview, and the boss was very strict and give a very low salary. It's not hard to finally graduate, and it's hard to find a good job. So I just accepted the job, but I would let him know that if it's cheap, it's not good. So Xiaoming's girlfriend's name is Zhu Jing. The first time, he brought the girlfriend to the village, to the countryside, to meet
猪进来了，
his parents. And this is only Chinese.
妈妈回答：猪进来就把他赶出去。两个女生谈话，
Two ladies
我暗示我的男朋友，
talking.
女生喜欢
I hint to my boyfriend
纯的东西，
that woman loves things that can
这个男朋友
last a long
一
time.
颗钻戒，
And then the next day, my boyfriend gave me a diamond ring.
这一招我
And
试
the
过，
other woman, I've tried
结
that.
果隔天呢，我的
But
男
my
朋友
boyfriend
送给
gave
我
me
一
a
包防腐
preservative,
能保持很久的东西。
things that can last a long time.
上帝把3个男人放到3个不同的岛上，
God put 3 men on 3 different islands. The first island has all women, and the second just wine, and the third one just cigarettes.
上帝回来查
And
看，
then a year later, God came to check.
全是女人的那个男的，
The man that's all in the islands with all women died of exhaustion, and the second with all wine also died after drunk, and the third one did not even touch
上帝
the cigarettes. And God was very satisfied. Oh, young man, so what have you
说没有给我打火机，
inspired? Oh, but the young man said, but you didn't give me the lighter. 好，我们讲维摩诘经。 Now we will expand on the Vimalakirti Sutra. This, when I got home last night, I was thinking,
我怎么想？维摩诘收下了12000，
Vimalakirti accepted 12,000 goddesses.
他要教导他们佛法，
Of course, he would teach them Buddha Dharma so that they generate bodhicitta.
是没有错。
That's right.
12000人，
12,000. I was thinking last
我也
night.
是等于钻牛角尖。
So the same as I was running down the rabbit hole.
你怎么教啊？一个一个教，
How do you teach them? 12,000 of them, one by one?
12000人怎么教？
How do you?
看他的根器。每一
It
个
all
根器不一样
depends on their spiritual roots too, because every one of them is different.
想到这个问题，
So I thought of that.
我们今天在讲这个维摩诘经，
And today we'll continue.
未故晚饮而已呀、就是这个推磨剥训，
So out of fear, Mara
这个
bowed
12000
down and obeyed.
全部给
So the Mara king, Boshin, gave the 12,000 goddesses to Vimalakirti.
所有的天女讲，
So at that time, Vimalakirti spoke to the goddesses.
等以我
Mara has offered you all to me.
已经把你们通通都送给我了。今你当
And now
借当发阿耨
you all should generate the mind of the highest perfect enlightenment, Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi.
发起的道心，道心啊，
So the mind of to strive for enlightenment.
既随所应而为说
Accordingly, I will teach you Dharma to inspire your aspiration for enlightenment.
所有天理的根器，为他们说佛法，
So Vimalakirti spoke Buddha Dharma according to their spiritual roots so that they
发起他们
aspire to gain enlightenment.
言，就是
He continued,
你等已发道义，
You have generated
可以知
the aspiration for
你们
enlightenment.
已经发了道心了。那么发了道心以后呢，就有法乐。
then
佛法的喜乐，
when you generate bodhicitta, then you would experience Dharma joy,
这就是
that you feel very joyful upon hearing the Dharma.
有法乐可以治愈啊！你们
So
拿这个法乐
the Dharma joy brings delight.
娱乐自己，
So you can
这个
entertain yourself. You would be very delighted.
利乐也。
And thus there is no need to seek pleasure in the joys of the five desires.
名食睡，
The five desires of wealth, sensual pleasures, fame, sleep, and food.
我这里就谈到这里，我跟大家讲，
Now,
我那时候讲说，他12000个天女如何
12,000 goddesses,
温柔节如
how
这12000个天女，
were offered to Vimalakirti, and how would Vimalakirti
随意想，
deal with these 12,000 goddesses?
温柔节有
And then I thought, Vimalakirti had great transcendent power. He could transform.
12000个天女，
So 12,000 goddesses, and I want to speak Dharma to you. It's not in the sutra. I'm speaking it now.
温柔节的
Vimalakirti had
变成多，
Vimalakirti's transcendent power can change the less to become many, many to become little.
12000个天女很简单，
So 12,000 goddesses are easy to him.
12000个天女
With one
来就变成一个天女，
supernatural power, he could combine 12,000 goddesses to become one
温
goddess.
柔节就对这个天女说法就可以。
And then Vimalakirti could just speak Dharma to that one goddess. I thought of this myself. It's not in the Vimalakirti Sutra.
12000个天女你怎么讲？
Or how do you speak to 12,000 goddesses? There was no speakers at that time.
1000人说法，
How do you give Dharma teaching to 12,000 people? And depending on their different spiritual roots, without speakers, how could they hear it?
当然了，维摩诘
Of course, when Vimalakirti gave Dharma teaching
不需要讲法，
in the sky,
天空都可以说话。
he doesn't have to speak. The voice comes from the sky.
12000个天女集合起来变成一个天女，
And he could just gather
变少。
the 12,000 goddesses to become one. So that means from many to
维摩诘
few, and then from few to many.
1000个维摩诘
How? And one Vimalakirti becomes 12,000 Vimalakirtis. And then one by one, and then one to one.
就幸福了。
And immediately all the goddesses would succumb.
12000个维摩诘，
So Vimalakirti can transform into 12,000 Vimalakirtis. How come I thought of this?
因为师尊本身的化身很多，
Because Grandmaster's Dharma bodies are also numerous.
啊，现在呢，几乎来讲起来的话，
Now
我可以变化很多的身，
I can say
见各个
that I can transform many bodies to many countries and live together with them, and then with dialogues, questions and answers.
这是真实的啊！
And it's true, it's real, it's the truth, it's reality.
这不是吹牛啊！
I'm not
这不
boasting.
是 you both said，
It's not bullshit.
你吹牛
You're boasting.
是有啊，
It does exist.
师尊的法身到处都有，
Grandmaster's Dharma bodies are everywhere, all over the world, in many countries.
谁问谁答。啊，我这个还有什么
Any questions and any answers?
跟他回答。
So when they have questions, asking the Dharma body, and the Dharma body will reply
座的当中呢，
to them.
在座的人
Among us here,
在座的
that are present now, there are several of them already. Many of them, not just one or two or three or four. Many that are together with Grandmaster's Dhamma body on their side. And with all the questions I answered, always there 24 hours a day. Therefore, Vimalakirti could transform into 12,000 Vimalakirtis, and then he could speak to the 12,000 goddesses one-to-one, so that they generate the mind for enlightenment. That's what I thought. Otherwise, 12,000 goddesses, so that they generate bodhicitta. If you have to speak one by one, there would be 12,000 times. If you want to gather them together, you have to make them into one. Or with the lion's roar, so they all can hear it. Or Vimalakirti transform into 12,000 Vimalakirtis, and then they can speak one-on-one in order for them to generate bodhicitta. I thought of this, it wasn't in the sutra. Otherwise, it's not easy that all of immediately 12,000 goddesses generated the mind for enlightenment. It's not easy, but Vimalakirti did it. So the goddesses then asked, what is the Dharma joy? Vimalakirti replied, it is the joy of having unwavering faith in the Buddha. If you have faith in the Buddha, then you would be delighted. You would be happy. Like back then, Golden Mother appeared, Amitabha Buddha appeared, Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva appeared. When I saw them, of course, I felt joy in my heart. After I followed or believed in the Buddha, I also felt a joy in my heart, because then I have a goal. I have faith that in the future I can go to the Buddha land, Buddhaverse. Of course, I'm filled with joy, and I have the mind of renunciation from samsara, and of course I also have the mind of delivering sentient beings. So Tsongkhapa said, you need to have these three requirements. One, the mind of renunciation, the mind of bodhicitta or for enlightenment, and the middle way. So the mind of renunciation is very important. You want to renounce samsara so that you don't cycle in the reincarnation of the sixth rebirth realm. It's all filled with suffering. You think as an animal you don't suffer? Of course, they kill each other. Those who swim in the ocean, they kill each other. Those who fly in the sky, they also kill each other. And then in the human world, all those crawling ones also kill each other. You don't know when you'll die. It's not guaranteed. They kill each other. So the animal realm, so we eat those who fly, those who crawl, those who swim in water. We eat them all. And the shark fins too. And now the Animal Protection Agency protects them. But I think they are not fair because they don't protect the chickens. And Grandmaster's zodiac is rooster. And some of you are too, or
属龙的最好。
ox. And if your zodiac is dragon, it's the
为
best.
什么不保护鸡呢？
How come they don't protect
保护的
the
是凶猛动
chicken?
物啊，
And instead, you're protecting the
狮子、
strong, fierce beasts
象、
like tigers, sharks,
犀牛，你
lions,
也保护。
uh,
最恐怖的动物鲨鱼，海
rhinos,
中的鲨，
elephants.
你也保护。
And then the worst is sharks, the killers in the ocean, and you protect them.
为什么你不保护鸡？
But how come you don't protect the chicken?
那肯德基 chicken 还讲说他做鸡是对的。
And KFC even advertises that
他讲说他做
we
鸡
do chicken right.
他专门杀鸡呀。
They specializes in killing chicken.
连鸡
Let me
脚
tell
他
you.
也吃，
They even eat the chicken feet.
可以呀。
Can you eat chicken feet? Yeah.
鸡屁股你也吃，
And you even eat chicken butts.
连鸡毛你也拔去做鸡毛掸子。
And you even use the chicken feathers for the duster
你说，还有鸡的脖子、
and chicken necks.
鸡的腿，那更不用。
And of course, chicken
鸡
legs
胸肉、
or breasts. You eat all of
内
it,
脏你也吃。
and even the innards.
鸡蛋给你们吃已经很够了。
And it's good enough to give you chicken eggs, and you want to eat the whole chicken.
对，哎，真的动物保护协会是怎么？
So what's going on with the Animal Protection Agency? They have no eyes.
人类这么好，
Chicken are so good to humans, and yet humans eat them.
我讲到
Where was I?
啊，哦，那你也是主张吃鸡的。
So you eat chicken too?
哎，算了，不谈。何谓法乐？乐常。
So what is Dharma joy?
你以为吃蔬菜就是吃素吗？
So in having faith in the Buddha, you think by eating vegetables
我讲过以前那日本呢有一个
that's not killing, but actually those are lives too. I've talked about this. There's a researcher in Japan that did this research that the tree,
充一个电，平时它的
they
电
put some
地上，
equipment or instrument to check the
树好好的，
electric current,
你把它锯下一颗，
and then they attached it to the tree, and the needle doesn't move. But if you cut the branch of a tree, then the needle would move. That means the tree also suffers by being cut.
命啊，
So you think that vegetables don't have lives?
枯萎了。
See, when you uproot them, they would wilt and turn yellow. They're all
是
lives.
生命啊，
The plants are also
所以佛教
living
讲一口
living beings. That's why in Buddhism we say that a mouthful of water has 84,000 germs. So if you don't chant mantra, that's as if you're killing sentient beings. So just taking a
充满了
gulp of water,
一口清
you have to chant mantra. And of course, the water in the Ganges River back then is filled with germs.
水也有生命，
So if you don't chant mantra, it's as if you're killing sentient beings. So there's lives in there and also in the plants, especially.
你就
So you think by a vegetarian, you don't kill.
乐听
So you have joy by having faith or belief in the Buddha,
老师跟你
the
讲，
joy of the delight in hearing the Dharma.
供养中
The joy of making offerings to all the Sangha, offering to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and also the poor and suffering people, or to the fellow practitioners or non-practitioners. We make offerings to them all equally, impartially. The joy of being free from attachment to the 5 desires, knowing that the 5 desires are all impermanent. Once you abandon the 5 desires, you have nothing to ask. Clear Master has abandoned the 5 desires, so I have no desire and nothing to ask. The joy of contemplating the 5 aggregates as enemies. The 5 aggregates of 5 skandhas are form, perception, mental formations, volitions, and consciousness, or eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, touch, too. The joy of contemplating the 5 aggregates or skandhas as thieves, that you don't like the 5 aggregates. And the joy of viewing the 4 elements as poisonous snakes, and human beings are aggregate of the 4 elements. When the 4 elements are not in harmony, then you are sick. So in Chinese medicine, we say that when they are not in harmony, if you have too much fire, then you have fever. And if you have too much earth, there would be wind. There would be pain. If you have too much wind, then you have asthma and breathing, many other ailments. And you have too much water, then you will swell. So the 4 elements are like poisonous snakes. And poisonous snakes eat each other, bite each other. So we need to harmonize the 4 elements, otherwise you will be sick. It is the joy of inner contemplation, contemplation as the gathering of emptiness. How would you explain this one? Anyone? Inner contemplation as the gathering of emptiness. So the joy of inner contemplation that your body is actually empty. The joy of protecting the path of the Buddha. It's the joy of benefiting sentient beings. You're happy when you help sentient beings. That's why we often say that the happiest thing is to do good. So once you do good, you would feel it's very meaningful and you would be happy then. And most importantly, the Dharma joy is through meditation. Then you would be happy. Recently, I talked about tantric meditation, which is slightly different from typical meditation. When your chi is moving inside your central channel, generating such a bliss that is indescribable, it's even more blissful than the bliss in the human world. When your inner fire is moving inside the central channel, when your light drops is moving inside the central channel or in other channels and chakras, it's beyond the words. It's indescribable. My gurus told me that's the Dharma joy. It's the joy of respecting and offering the teacher. Offering the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Well, actually, when you offer to the Buddha or Dharma, they don't eat them. But when you offer to the Sangha, it will be eaten by the Sangha. It is the joy of practicing generosity extensively, that you do more and more charity and good deeds, so that all sentient beings benefit from it, and that's beneficial. So all sentient beings are equal. So from this country helps another country. Like Sung Yen Lu Foundation has helped Haiti, the earthquake in Nepal, helped them rebuild their houses and schools in Nepal. Sung Yen Lu Foundation did all those. That's what, based on what I know. When they had an earthquake in Haiti, Sung Yen Lu Foundation also helped. I told them that you should help wherever there's a disaster around the world. I asked my daughter, Lu Fo Qing, to be in charge of the Sung Yen Lu Foundation. I attended a banquet or gathering and met the CEO of the Jian'an, a senior home in Seattle, and he thanked me that Sung Yen Lu Foundation often helped them. And upon hearing that, I felt very pleased. The Jian'an nursing and senior home CEO was very pleased to see me in person, that finally he got to meet Grandmaster Lu. And he did say that thank you for the help provided by Sung Yen Lu Foundation. So it's a joy of practicing generosity extensively. So in samsara, that's all we do, generosity in giving wealth, dharma, and fearlessness. It is the joy of upholding the precepts. So actually, keeping the precepts is also a happy thing. It is the joy of patience and gentleness. So enduring is also a joyful thing, because if you don't endure, then you become violent. Personally, I made the vow first, I would never sue other people. Even when I am mistreated or bullied, I will not sue them. Even if I am disadvantaged or less, I will never sue for anything. Because once you sue other people, when they receive the notice, they will suffer. Then by doing so, won't I create suffering for others? Then what kind of Buddhist are you? And yet you still sue others. It's okay, even if you're disadvantaged or if you lose. Because if you sue others, others will suffer and they will lose sleep at night. They will have to find a way to handle the lawsuit, have to hire an attorney. It's okay, just endure it. Gentleness, everything is peaceful and in harmony. So I made this vow long ago. Even if I was disadvantaged, mistreated, or at a loss, I have been keeping that,
坚持守戒，乐忍辱，
upholding the precepts,
一切对人要
the joy of patience and gentleness. So you have to be patient toward everyone. You should not be very coarse or scolding people,
并不是说
speak very rudely.
鸡蛋臭鸡蛋，当然
But we're not talking about cursing,
臭鸡
okay?
蛋是这样子的，是讲说，
Rotten eggs.
台湾最近就是因为
In
蛋的
Taiwan,
问题啊，
they have problems with eggs.
鸡蛋
They
都
have
臭，
many
鸡蛋
problems,
臭都
and the eggs are rotten. But we cannot even say rotten eggs.
这个就是讲话要柔和一点，就是要柔和，
So you need to speak kindly
比较
and
平和的声音，
speak in a harmonious voice and calm and polite words, you know. How could you sit in my seat? This is mine. You should not speak like that.
这是我的位置，你坐。
You can sit since you sit here. You can sit in my seat, and I'll sit other places. So you can be kind and gentle, and you're polite with each other. So you should be more polite treating people. Then you will be happy. Otherwise, you will have fire of temper. It is the joy of diligently accumulating wholesome roots. You encourage people to do good. That's the good root. Therefore, to go to Sukhavati, there are two requirements. First, you have to have good spiritual root. You have to have good spiritual root. That's the first point. Very important. You have to do more good deeds and charities. Then you plant some good roots. And you single-mindedly chant the Buddha's name. Then the Pure Land Trinity will appear to guide you to the Pure Land. So the first requirement to go to Sukhavati is you have to have some good spiritual root. So you need to diligently accumulating your good roots. So you need to do more good deeds. Then that's how you accumulate. And it is the joy of undistracted meditative concentration. This is what I like most. When you enter into meditation, you would be the happiest. If you can enter meditation completely free of thoughts, in the state of no thought for 5 minutes, it's the same as several hours of sleep. You would recover, rejuvenate, you would recover from your exhaustion completely. That kind of joy is beyond description. If you can enter into deep meditation, 5 minutes is good enough. We completely without any thoughts whatsoever, completely blank. Then you would be rejuvenated completely, and all tiredness and will be gone. So the joy of undistracted meditative concentration, undistracted, which is no thought. So what we talked about last night, stopping and viewing. That person asks so many questions and thinking, analyzing too much. That means he was disorderly or messy because he could not stop, he could not cut, could not be serene. If you can stop and cut for 5 minutes, then you can recover everything. And if you can stop for 25 minutes, that would be incredible. Entering deep meditation for so the joy of undistracted meditative concentration, of course, that's very joyful. And it is the joy of transcending impurities and attaining illuminating wisdom. The same name as Mariji Minghui. That's her name. Minghui is inside. She's very cute. I used to hug her when she was little. So you understand wisdom. She's very cute. So when you understand the wisdom, you would abandon all impurities. And the joy, it is the joy of cultivating the vast mind of bodhicitta. The vast bodhicitta. Anuttaraya Samyak Sambodhi is the vast mind of enlightenment. It is the joy of subduing demons. Actually, demons arise from your own heart's minds. But once you understand wisdom, you subdue your own demons. You subdue yourself. Once you subdue your inner demons, the outer demons will never appear, will be subdued too. So it is the joy of subduing demons. It is the joy of eradicating afflictions. What are the afflictions? Once you have desires, you would have afflictions. Everything is affliction. Well, sensual pleasures, fame, sleep, and food. So 5 kinds of desires, 5 kinds of afflictions. Whatever you want, you will be bound by it. If you don't think of anything, you have no affliction at all. If you have no afflictions, please raise your hand. You don't? I had afflictions before, but after hearing Vimalakirti. But I'm afflicted because you wrote so much and talked so much. Every time I read the articles, oh, good article, and then I put it in the book. When she saw me included in the book, she wrote even more. Then I'm very afflicted, and she gave me every week. And one book takes over 2 months. And then I put 1 article or 2 articles are good enough. And then you want me to put 8 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 articles in my book. I don't want to throw them away because you wrote really well. But if I don't throw them out, there's no space in my book. If I just put your articles only, then people would say I'm biased toward you. So that's my affliction, do you know? That's my affliction. So you're creating afflictions for me. You throw all your afflictions at me, do you know? Oh, what nonsense. It's just check the next book. I included your article in the book, but I want to change your name, Lian Ci to Lian Pig, Lotus Pig. What? I will include the article, but I will take will replace your name with another name.
改成无名氏。
Oh, just right. Just right, Loda. So you want me to post all your articles then? Just your articles? That's my affliction.
我本来没有烦恼了，给
I did not have any afflictions before, and now because of her, I have affliction.
天给我。
And today she gave me another article. Oh my God,
是啊，
I'm dead.
四五
I already
篇文章，
accumulated 6 articles from her.
放抽屉，我哪有那么
Let's
多
just
抽屉呀？
let's just put them in your drawer. Well, I don't have that many drawers.
上全部堆满了你的东西呀，你知道吗？
Do you know that all your things are on top of my desk?
人写东西给我，
And many people write so many things.
的一个人，
And so it's become messy now. I was very clean and orderly before.
我看了都烦。
When I see all the stuff on my desk, I feel very afflicted. Why did you raise your hand again?
算了，你自己登记的，
I can post it on the Tribhuvan News. Okay, you can post your own articles.
够了。
That's enough, okay? That's enough. Amitabha. Oh, please give me a break. Please give me a break.
下个礼拜再写一篇给我哈。
Okay, write another article next week, right?
不会啦，不会。乐断诸烦恼，
So it is the joy of eradicating afflictions.
乐尽佛
It is the joy of purifying the Buddha verses.
佛净土居，
We go to the
很好。
Pure Lands and Buddha verses would be marvelous.
就向好，
It is the joy of attaining all virtues, deeds, and practicing
脸
merit.
上都会写出来的。
Actually, your spiritual cultivation will show in your face. If you're violent and fierce, then you would have a violent face. And if you're kind and compassionate, your face will be kind and compassionate.
我一看你的眼睛，
Because if you killed in your past, I
凶
can
光，
tell by looking at your eyes, because in the eyes there is some violence in there. Then I can tell just by a look, by taking a look, that you must have killed someone.
表现了一个人
And the face
生我们
will show your
的
heart.
面相
Chinese say, there is a Chinese
大
saying,
了，上
when you grow up, when you are old,
要对自己的脸来负责。
you need to take responsibility for your own face, because the face will show whatever that you have done. Your face will show whatever you have
重
done.
要啊！
So this is very important.
你看，像佛像，就是
Like the Buddha is
你要
a very good, dignified and magnificent
你的面相
look. So by attaining virtuous deeds and practicing merit, then your look will be better.
像释迦牟尼佛的像，
Like the look of Sakyamuni Buddha is really endowed with 32 marks of perfection and the 80 secondary
连道场
marks.
庄严，
It is the joy of upholding the dignified place of practice. Like the 10 directional chapter has a very magnificent place of
什么都是
practice.
道场。
So everything is the place of practice and everything is dignified.
讲到这里吧。
Okay, that's all for today.
你的问男的，如果
The woman asked the man, if you get married, will you stop smoking? Sure. Will you stop drinking? Yeah.
晚上也不去，
And you don't go to the nightclubs anymore? And the man said, yeah.
什么想放弃的吗？
So will you let go of everything?
婚的念头，
And he said, getting married. I want to let go of getting married.
大老板巡视工厂，正好遇到一个
The big boss was patrolling the factory, and saw someone, a janitor, sweeping the floor, and oh, please work well. Because I started out as a janitor too, and the janitor replied, and you should work hard because I was a big boss before too. Do you know that a girlfriend in rage, what is the difference between her with the terrorists? And Trump replied that you can negotiate with the terrorists, but you cannot with the girlfriend in rage or with a woman in rage. That's why I don't want to negotiate with Master Lian Ci. Oh, money, pay me home.